to episode 94 of the Slip and Win podcast. Very special guest this week, coming off a fantastic win against Jojo Diaz. My guy, Mercito Gesta. Mercito, how you doing, brother?
Hey, I'm doing good. Thank you for having me to your show.
Listen, man, I had you on last year. I had you on the show last year after your win over Joel Diaz. And here you are again after what maybe is the best win of your career. I guess my first question to you is, what are some of the things that you and Marvin been working on this year? And how exactly is it that at this point in your career, you're having some of your best performances?
Well, you know what? Now that I'm focused now with Marvin. Definitely we've improved a lot. There's a lot of techniques, training, and I feel like I'm learning more. Usually in this stage of a career, because I've been in the sport for a while, it should be stagnant, but um, I've learned more. And I wanna be that person. It's not like I want to be stagnant. I want to keep learning and adapting new styles. And so far, with Marvin's training alongside with my dad's uh, technique and training, both of them agrees. And it's just be smart in there and throwing more jabs and what works on the opponent, because every fight has a different style. You need to adjust a little bit. And I'm happy right now with that I'm concentrating with Marvin. I think this might second or third fight that's concentrated just with Marvin and my dad. So everything works out. Everything's good with Marvin. So I'm learning a lot.
Well, speaking of fighting smart, I mean, that was one of the first things I noticed, man, was like right in the first round, you had your jab working and it would look like you knew exactly what you needed to be doing, kind of keeping him off balance, keep yourself moving, keep the jab in his face. Was that part of the game plan?
Yes, that's the part of the game plan. Marvin, my dad, agrees. Both of them before they even talk, before they even um, talk about the game plan. Because my dad talked to me and Marvin also talked to me in separate ways. Both of them have the same game plan. I'm southpaw, Jojo southpaw, usually the one that connects his jab. And so my dad says, keep going, keep throwing your jab. And once in a while, when opening comes, counter with a straight. And same thing with Marvin. That's why he was saying, we're gonna beat him with a jab, move around. Although Jojo has some experience, but he tend to just wanted to walk you over and put his hands up, and doesn't really do as much. So both works out for me with my dad and Marvin's game plan. And so that's what I'm trying to do. Although the third round wasn't part of the plan. I stick on the pocket. I stay there. I guess being a fighter, when you get hit, you just feel like, I want to go in there. I want to do toe to toe. And
That was
they
a crazy round, man. That really was, because it went from like a boxing match. He was fighting pretty smart. You were fighting pretty smart. And then it was like it exploded out of nowhere. And you guys were
yeah.
both just swinging.
Exactly. Although it excites the fan, but that wasn't part of the plan. That wasn't part of the game plan. So, right after that, my dad and then Marvin was saying that, you're doing good, but don't stay in the pocket. Play your game. He's gonna play his game. So we gotta stay. So, after that, I managed to get back and go to the game plan.
Did he buzz you in the third, or was it just like he caught you with something and there was a mentality shift, like, I got to get this guy's respect? You know what I mean?
Yeah. He caught me some, but I guess since I've been sparring with bigger guys, um, it, it didn't buzz me really. Although it's a little heavy hand because he's heavier than me. But in boxing, there are categories of how's the punches felt. There
Right.
are punches that felt like it stings. The punches that really gets you and just strong. And with Jojo Diaz, it's just heavy hand, but it doesn't like buzz me or sting me. And I guess it's this the reason why too, because he's heavier than me. He can use his weight, but I'm used to spar with bigger guys. Although right when I get hit, fighter mentality. Okay, let's get it
Right.
on. Let's do this. Like it excites the fans, but like I said, it wasn't part of the game plan. So after that, I just need to get back and be disciplined and follow our game plan.
Does he hit harder than his knockout ratio would suggest?
I would say in 126, because he started at 126, he hits harder probably. But at 135, I face someone that hits harder. Um, that the punches are hurt, that painful.
Right.
With him, it's just heavy, because there's some weight in there that was pushing. But I don't think that it's the hardest one that I've fought. It's okay for me. I can take a hit. But although, like I said, there are 130 pounder that can hit more harder. But like I said, he's just heavy handed. It's like when he throws, so just with his weight.
Well, speaking of weight, I didn't really have the full context for what happened. So obviously it's a lightweight fight. I think he came in at 139 pounds, maybe more.
Yeah.
Do you know exactly what happened there? Did he have to try to make weight again? Were you told that he was that much over?
You know what? Looking at him since before the weigh-in, I think a day before or yeah, a day before. I can tell like this guy still kind of looks heavy, because I have experience already. I can tell his opponent, and they told me that the Golden Boy or Eric Gomez was telling me like, oh, he can make weight. We were asking like, I don't know if he can make weight. He looks heavy.
Right.
They told us, oh, he can make weight. He's 139 a day before the fight. And it's like, okay, 139 is pretty much still big, in the weigh-in is tomorrow. And it says he can make it. And then the next day, he's still 139. So I'm not sure if he's really 139 that day. So he's probably just saying that and saying that he can make it. And for us, we wanted to train him. We wanted to make sure he can make weight. So I told him that, or at least lose more weight, because it's an advantage for me. So when they give up, they don't want to, lose more weight. Supposed to be its advantage for me is to tell them like, oh, you know what, he gonna lose more, but they don't want it. They don't want it anymore. They said, no, he can't make weight. I'm like, oh, he better make some, because I did my part. I'm even 135 flat the day before the fight. So and then the next day I'll be underweight. So I eat a little bit like that night, and so um but they said he can't make it. He doesn't want to lose weight anymore. So for me, I've been training for a long time. I want to save the card, and also at the same time, it's my job. It's too wasteful if I don't want to fight. The main event is already pulled out. So I said, okay, you know what? Let's do it. So I did it, and so pretty much he went there 139 or almost 140
Did you
without
view
any
that as a
fighting.
risk? Did you view that as a risk fighting somebody that was a junior welterweight?
It is kind of, I was thinking about that, but since I've been training for a while, and then I was supposed to fight Ryan Garcia, so I'm like, you know what, I don't want to waste this time again, not fighting again. Let's just do it, because if I force them to lose more weight, then they will say, oh, I can't do it anymore, then the fight's not gonna happen. And so for me, like, I need to save the card, and I wanted to fight too. So right when I accepted, man, they were thanking me. The Jojo Diaz team, like, even shake my hand, thanking me, and the Golden Boy promotion, Eric Gomez, like, oh, thank you for saving the card. I'm like, you know what? I'm trying to be professional here. I want to save the card. Let's do this. I don't care. Let's make this. And I, at the same time, thinking I've been sparring with bigger guys, so I'm like, I should be okay.
Well, and speaking of saving the card, right? You were saving the card already because apparently Zurdo Ramirez came in at, I think, 186 pounds for a fight at 175 pounds. What was your reaction to that? You've been around the sport a long time. How is that even possible if somebody's, trying to make the weight?
I just can't believe how much weight he was heavy. It's not good. It's not good for him. If he just weighs like maybe 3 more pounds over, or even four is already a lot already. If that's how it is, like it's just not good. I don't know what I don't know what's going on there. Like I was like
Yeah.
wondering. I was like, yeah, it's not good for you. Like, and you're the main event. Oh man, like it's not good for.
And he's like a top five guy in his division. I think that's why people were so surprised that, Zordo's got 40 something fights, just like you have 40 something fights. So to see him come in that much heavier than his weight class, I think it was just kind of shocking for the fans.
It is. It's not, like I said, it's not good for him. Not good for his name. Not good for his team. It's just, to be honest, like their team be embarrassed with what's going on, and I don't know what's going on because both of them train at the same gym, and both of them are overweight. I'm like, what is going on there? And both of us, Gabe Rosado and me, we train at Walker. Both of us made weight, so I'm like, it's good for us, but it sucks for them. And like I said, main event is already not fighting. And if I don't fight, then the card will fall apart. So I'm like, you know what? Let's do it. We'll save the card. I don't care. Let's make it.
Did you ever have the opportunity to talk to Gabe Rosado after the fact?
Yes, yes. I was talking to him, and he's actually before, like he was before he was thinking not to fight because it's too much.
Right.
He told me like, you know what, it's time for you to shine. You're gonna be the main event this time. Do your best. And so I talked to him, and I told him like, yeah, man, sorry, man, what happened? That's a lot. If I'm in your shoes, that will be happening too. I can't fight because he's already moving up. Imagine
Right.
that. He's already
Right.
moving up, and then his opponent is more higher. I was like, what is going on? I was just shocked. So
Yeah.
I told him, I will, if I'm in your shoes, I'll do the same thing. I can't be fighting. I'm already moving up. And so he just pretty much told me like, it's your time. It's time for you to shine. It's you the main event right now. Do your best, and give me a little bit of you know, some advice on what to do or not, and against Jojo Diaz. So and at the same time, we train at the same gym, so we're kind of like a team.
So when they read the scores, obviously it was a very entertaining fight. There was a lot of back and forth rounds. Some of the rounds were close. Um, when you heard the range of scores, like I think one of the judges had it 7-3 for him, and then the other two had it very wide for you. Was that surprising to you to hear that range of scores?
Um, I was just waiting for who really will win the fight. The first one, when they give it to Jojo Diaz, I was like, "Oh, what's going on here?" And then the next one, they gave it to me, and I thought that they're gonna make it a draw again, like with what's his name, Morales, the Morales fight. But then they announced a third judge, and it was for me. It was just a relief that I won the fight. And I know scorecards, I don't know how they do that, but at the end of the day, I will cherish the victory. I will cherish that I won the fight, and I won't think anymore what's going on. I won the fight, and we'll move
Right.
on. Let's go to the next step, to the next one.
When they showed the telecast, they were replaying parts of the fight and whatever, and they replayed the end of the fight where you guys were kind of speaking to each other in the ring at the end of the fight. What were you guys saying to each other?
Oh, first of all, I have nothing against Joe Diaz, even if probably he will say something. Um, that's just the first time that we've met, that we fought, and I've spoke to him before when he was like a 126 pounder, I think. I just told him like, hey, so much respect for you. I know something going on in your personal life. You can just fix it. Um, do your best in your life. You can still bounce back. You're still young, so respect for you. I was telling him about that. You know, I don't grudge. I mean, hold any grudge or whatever. It's just a sport, unless the fighter's really like doing something to me. Then that's a different story. So, um, you know, it's all job for me. It's all sport. Trying to stay professional.
Do you have any advice for him or even for any fighter kind of in his position, right? Because you're a couple of years older and not that long ago, right? Maybe 3, 4 years ago when you had some inactivity, there was a couple of tough fights in there, and then you took the time off. But when you stopped for that period, you were about JoJo's age. Do you think that he's still capable of being able to move forward with his career? And what would you say to him?
Yeah, I think so. I think so. You know what? You gotta stay positive. You gotta fix whatever negativity in your life will pull you down. You gotta stay positive in everything in life, in sport. You gotta always stay positive, because if you're positive, you know, of course, I'll also put some prayer in there, because you know, teaching by God makes you a good person. You know, whether you believe or not, like there's nothing wrong about doing good, you know, and it gives you sense of peace. I would say just be positive, be peace, put peace in you, pray in God, and if you have that in your mind, your body will follow, and you will do good. Even if you lose a fight, I lose a fight, but you know what? I stay positive, and you just don't know. Blessing will come in your life, and you'll feel good. You won't feel any. You don't have any mental problem or anything, as long as you stay positive, be thankful, and always you know, stay foot in the ground. Don't be boosting yourself or whatsoever, because you know that you will time will come. You have your time.
Well, I think that's kind of what's been special about one of the things that's been special about your career, right? Is it's like that, like you said, staying positive. You've been around for a long time and there's been some ups and downs, but I think like the longevity that you're achieving right now is really an accomplishment. You know what I mean?
Oh, thank you. Yes, thank you. um oh yes, yes, I am. And also you gotta, you also, my also advice for all the fighters, you gotta respect your body. You gotta treat your body like, you know, you gotta treat your body nice. With me, you know, I've said this in some other interviews, you know, I don't drink, I don't have an addiction or whatsoever. If you live your life healthy, you will last long. You will last long. I feel good. I don't have any knee problem. I know people, some other fighters have already knee problem when they run, you know. And you gotta be smart too in everything that you do, since if you've been fighting for a long time, you know what style, what technique to do in training to make sure that your body is healthy. Like for me, for example, running, yep, it is important, but if I don't have any fights, I try to conserve my knee. So like example, instead of keep running, I go biking, so
Right.
there's no impact. So just be smart. There's a lot of ways you can get cardio. Um, and like I said, treat your body, respect your body, make sure that you don't do harm in your body. Like example, maybe if you drink, just drink a little, probably. Although I don't drink, but just occasionally, maybe wine or something. But if you do it too much, you know, drinking, drug, whatever, you won't last long. So love your body, respect your body, and that's how I can.
Especially as a fighter, like your body is your tool, it's your weapon, you know, like
Especially, yes, exactly. Especially you're a fighter. If you're not a fighter, that's even good. But the more you do it because you're a fighter, yeah.
that was also one of the things I noticed watching you train in person is you don't punch like a guy that's your age or move like a guy or I mean there's great fighters in their mid 30s but the average fighter in their mid 30s moves a certain kind of way that you don't move like that. You move like a young fighter.
Yes, yes, that's exactly what I'm trying to say. I feel great. I feel good because I treat my body good. and that's why I feel this way, and that's why probably I moved this way.
So after you beat Joel Diaz, can you speak to why we didn't get to see you in the ring for the remainder of the year and the 10 months that you didn't fight?
Um, yes, well, that time after there's a lot of things going on too. My wife and I were preparing for because we were having a hard time. We wanted to have a family, a baby, and then we were having a hard time. We actually went to IVF route. I don't know if you know that. Yeah,
Yeah.
so uh I need to be there with her, and there's some couple of fights that get canceled. But even though if that happened, you know, I know my time will come. I stay positive, and like right now, this happened, and I have good opportunity next because of this, and that what happened the last time, it's like nothing to me because I wasn't really thinking about that much. I didn't think about that as a big problem or something.
Can you talk at all about what exactly happened with the Ryan Garcia fight? Obviously, we know that he didn't fight you because he wanted to ensure that he kept the date with Tank Davis, but how did that come to your attention? When did that come to your attention? And were you like in the middle of training when it was called off?
Well, yeah, when they gave that news to me, well, not first when they said that I'll be fighting Ryan Garcia, I got excited, of
And I
course.
knew that because when we talked, that was the fight that you wanted.
Yes, yes. Um, I got excited, and then I actually signed a contract. I signed a contract, um, and they said that they did not sign the contract. So, they said that they didn't sign the contract, and I'm like, you know, ESPN even published it already. I think it did. It's just, I think what I believe is, he's not prepared. It's not that he's scared. He's not prepared. He went to Korea to watch his brother under Pacquiao's undercard of Pacquiao, and I forgot that Korean guy or Japanese guy. And so if he lose against me, that fight will be off probably against Tank Davis. So he wasn't prepared that time. He's not ready. So that's why I was thinking that's why they wanted to pull the fight out because he's not really ready because he wasn't preparing and the fight's getting closer and you need to go to Korea and and if you go there, of course, you're gonna probably party or something after your brother's fight and you're in a different country. So I was even thinking, oh, this is my advantage. He's not serious right now. He's not really training as much. And then it didn't surprise me when they said that he doesn't want to fight. And of course, they want to say that because he just want to go straight to Tank Davis. Tank Davis even fought someone before their fight, So, but anyway, I was like, oh, such a waste. I was like, okay, this time will come still. Yeah.
Did you were you training for a period of time for that fight at all?
Um, I was training. Yes, I was training. I was preparing. I was training hard for that one. For the straight like I think a month already was straight hard training, and then they pulled the fight, and we have I think a month and a half left, and so I'm like, oh man, I even stayed in LA, rent for an Airbnb. I'm like, oh man, it's not so cheap to rent an
Right.
Airbnb, so I'm like, oh, but I was like, okay, it's okay, I'm okay, everything's okay, time will come, and then this Jojo Diaz fight came, and grabbed the opportunity and did good and won the fight.
So a lot of the top guys you're in a very deep division, but a lot of the top guys right now have fight signed, right? Lomachenko is going to fight Devin Haney apparently. Ryan Garcia is going to fight Tank Davis at some point. What what is the fight that you're looking to take next? Are you kind of willing to wait to see how those unfold? Is it somebody like William Zapata or George Kambosos? Like who are some of the guys that you're interested in right now?
I know those big names like Ryan Garcia and Gervonta Davis in my weight. Those are good ones, but of course I gotta fight, work more to get there because of course they want bigger names too. Um, the easier, I mean I would say quicker fight for me that will happen is against William Cepeda.
And do you believe that fight will happen?
Oh yeah, that I believe that fight will happen. Yes, yes.
Is that an announcement?
um, it's not. I mean, it will happen, but it's not confirmed yet. But it will happen. Yeah,
Well, I think that's a great matchup, man. And Zepeda is also a hell of a fighter,
he is.
hell
He
a
is.
great volume puncher. Also had a good fight with Jojo. That's a
Yeah,
great matchup.
that's a great matchup because both of us fought Jojo Diaz, and both of us won against Jojo Diaz. So that will happen.
Where does Jojo kind of stack up amongst the all of the many talented fighters that you've been in the ring with? And was that one of the tougher fights you've had?
Um, it's a top five, but I don't think it's really the toughest fight. Um, Although when I fought Linares, it's a different category because Linares is more stylish, quick technique. Jojo is more like stack and go in there and wanting to counter. Um, I would say also a good tough opponent, but in a different category, not in a technical style. Yeah.
What was that Linares fight like for you? Because at that time, Jorge Linares was, I mean, he was one of my favorite fighters and just a very fast, stylish guy. What was that fight like for you? And do you feel like there was lessons in that fight that kind of have made you better going forward?
Yes, definitely. Oh, I feel good on that performance, but I feel like I can show more. I can do better. If I could go back and change the game plan or the training, that would be nice because uh I don't think the 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 sparring partner, the training doesn't match on that fight what I have. It's such a bad, not even doesn't even compare to Linares. Doesn't even have the same style or height. I've been sparring with the whole camp with a retired fighter.
Really?
So, yeah, I don't want to mention the name, man, but I know the guy. Um, but I was just not the right camp. That's why after that I stayed with Marvin Samodio because I know he's young, he he knows so he can find a good sparring partner. So after that Linares fight, we decided, me and my team, my dad, that yeah, we gotta find someone that can push you to the next level.
So if anything, it did kind of push you to rework either your camp, your team, your toolkit, because once you see somebody that's that good, it's like, all right, I have to elevate, my game.
Yes, definitely, definitely. You gotta do it. You gotta know how to adjust and find the perfect person that can push you to the next level. Um, and also a person that you can connect with. Marvin is also Filipino. Both of us understand we have the same culture, and I just love the way him and my dad have the same plan. Although my dad's not always there because of course he has his own job too. Um, and Marvin, that's his full-time job. So that's why we stay there. And then when my dad's off, he can teach me. I mean, he can show me, and both of them talk, and both of them agrees what they plan, the game plan for me. And every fight is different, so every fight there's gonna be new technique to adapt. Not as much, but you gotta switch it a little bit because I'm so used to my style, and they just need to perfect it. That's why there's a camp to practice it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's like one of the more admirable things, right? Is when young fighters take risks and sometimes the risks don't play out. They become lessons, you know what I mean? Like, and we're
Yes.
seeing a lot of the young fighters in this new generation fight other undefeated fighters and take tougher fights where they didn't for a little bit. But you did when you were a younger fighter. You know what I'm saying? You were fighting for world titles when you were like a young guy. So
Mhm.
I think in the long run, as fans, like we should reward that, and because it will pay off, even if it's a loss, because it's going to make you better.
It is. It's true. It's true. Um, once you experience that, sometimes the pressure that you felt kind of like it let go because once you're undefeated, there's always on the side of your brain like, what if I lost? I need to do good. So that pressure is still always there constantly. But if you experience it, that pressure is gone. You'll be like all just focused. I don't care. I'll be there to fight and I'll do good.
Did you get to watch David Benavidez versus Caleb Plant?
Yeah, yes, yes. I watched that. I saw that fight. It was a great fight. Caleb Plant too, did great, with his, tactic, but then of course, the holding and he's just smart. Try not to get hit as much. Um, but yeah, it was a great fight. It was a good fight.
It seemed like in the first half that Caleb was boxing really nicely and keeping David moving and wasn't letting his back hit the ropes. And then David started to take over in the back half. As a fighter, when you're watching that, did you interpret it that like David's really picking it up, or that Caleb is maybe fading a little, or a mix of both?
I think David um finally got the rhythm and saw what he can do in there and try to make a little adjustment. Um, Caleb is pretty much, kind of like seasoned move. It looks like a seasoned fighter. He knows how to move and how to fight Benavides. But then I believe that Benavides finally found his rhythm and try to uh, pick him a little by little, and made a good adjustment.
Yeah, I thought it was a great matchup. I was happy that David finally got to be in with like an elite fighter. And I think Caleb's a great defensive fighter. And if you're picking like a guy to make you miss one punch, he's definitely one of the best in the sport. But David's pressure and volume, I just felt like was gonna catch up to him some point, and eventually it did.
Correct. Yeah, I agree to you. Yeah, that's what happened. Yeah.
The last thing I want to ask you, just because we talked about and you were about to fight him potentially, do you have an opinion or any thoughts on how the fight between Tank and Ryan will play out? Maybe we talked about this before, but things have changed since then too.
Um, for me, I know of course, it's gonna be a great fight. Both of them are undefeated, and both of them in their prime. I would say for me, score wise, like the quickness, um, uh, Garcia, of course, obviously gonna be faster. Um, but if Tank Davis will manage to get inside and get the rhythm how Garcia move, he will start to like pick him apart little by little. But like I said, but then Garcia has some speed that Tank Davis need to be careful too. Because even though it will say like, oh, he's not that strong, the punches that you won't see are the one that can drop you, and that's what Garcia have. But like I said, it could go the other way. It could go the other way. I mean, uh, it's hard to say, but it's hard to predict it because both of them in their prime. I know for sure it's gonna be a hell of a fight.
It is going to be a hell of a fight, man. I was
Yeah.
at the first press conference in New York, and it was exciting, man.
Oh really? Were you there? Oh yes. All right.
Yeah, I was there, and the energy was definitely. I mean, they started to pop off a little more in LA when they got out there, and they got a little more talkative. But
Were you there in LA too?
no, I was just at the one out here. But I
Yeah,
saw
the
the
one.
video.
Yeah, in New York, it's a little bit unsettled, but in LA, it's a little bit more heated over there.
I don't know if you heard this or saw this, but Tank was, I think, 2 hours late to the first press conference. Does that what if you're in a fight and a guy does that? How do you interpret that? Is he scared? Is he trying to show you he doesn't really care?
Um, it depends on the fighter. The way I look at Tank, I think he just don't care.
Right.
Yeah, I don't think he's scared. He just don't care. He's still undefeated, and he still have that you know feeling of untouchable, and both of
Right.
them.
He thinks he's
Yeah,
the guy.
yeah, he thinks he's the guy. But both of them has a good feeling because both are still undefeated. But it will come. Time will come. Time can tell what's gonna happen now.
Well, Mercito, this has been a great episode, man. And I've really appreciated watching you and your career. I think it's really fascinating when guys are able to be in the sport for a really long time and stay relevant. Guys like you and Nonito and some of the other fighters from this generation. Is there anybody that you want to shout out? Anybody on your team, whoever, before we wrap this one up?
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, although I always thank my team and Robert Diaz, of course. He really helped me a lot. I just want to thank my manager and my team. Neil Makasadia, man, he's been there for me since the beginning. He he doesn't want anything. He just want for me to succeed. He's like a brother to me. So, um, it's this fight. I was supposed to retire already, but because because of their support and they believe in me, I'm still here now. I feel good. So, um, I have so much respect and uh just love for for Neil Magasaja. I just want to put that in there. So yeah, that's how it is. Of course, before my wife, I don't want her to think that I didn't think about my wife because she's taking care of the baby while I'm in my camp.
Yes, and shout out to Neil. Thank you for putting this together, brother. Mercito, I really appreciate you coming on, bro. Hopefully, we'll hear an announcement about that Zapata fight soon.
You'll see it. It will happen.
All right, bro. Thank you so much, man. Appreciate it.
All right. Thank you, brother.